Hey, what's up, Skyball? Come here with Imagination Creation Films, and today it's new RED Komodo Firmware Day. Woo-hoo-hoo! It's so exciting. So we'll jump into the details and walkthrough of the new RED Komodo beta firmware in just a moment, but first, some house cleaning. No, not that kind. You know what, though? It looks pretty good. Just keep doing that. No, I'm talking about disclaimers. So Jared at RED did send over this Komodo firmware build for me to test and then place the overwhelming burden of me saying go or no go on the build to release. Yeah, no pressure at all. Not a bit. But the good thing is, well, this is the perfect opportunity for you to subscribe. So do that. Yeah. So I get to give the final thumbs up to allow this beta firmware to get released. So I thought, well, I'd take a moment to go over the features before I tell Jared to release it. I mean, I have the firmware. It's here. Why shouldn't I make a video about it? I'm sure that's what he meant. So let's go through the important changes. The first thing, this is a beta build release, and you should treat it as such. So don't use it in critical use unless you are very comfortable with it. Now, I've been testing it for a few days now, and it's pretty rock solid. But there is one little non-critical bug, which I'll explain later so you'll understand why this is a beta release. But right off the bat, we have ELQ mode, which I like to call enhanced loving quality. This is much higher compression than LQ, and the results are quite impressive. Here's a breakdown of the recording times with each mode on, say, a 512 gig card at 2398. HQ, you get 30 minutes. Medium quality, you get 48. Low quality, you get 1 hour 17. And then ELQ on Komodo, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Okay, Jared, I'll get to you in a minute. Wow, he's so pushy. That's a 63% increase in recording time, and it's huge. And looking at the quality, it's ever so slightly noticeable, but it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. And by bad, I mean, I thought it was going to look like a really high compression on DSMC2, which is a little bit noticeable, but it's not bad at all. It's kind of nice. The next big change is the cloud upload ability with Frame.io and Amazon S3. Now, I don't use Amazon, so I can't show you that, but I can show you the Frame.io setup, and well, it's pretty simple. Just go to the menu, choose communication, then cloud upload option, and in here you'll have to first enable it. And then when you do, you can now select the service, either Frame.io or S3. Now the next option allows you to select which file types you want to sync to the cloud. Next, go to the service and configure it. Click OK on Connect, and it's going to generate a number on Komodo. Now go to Frame.io, create a new project, enable camera to cloud, and click Create. Then go to C2C, camera to cloud connections, and then click Add New Device. When the Komodo is ready with this code, just click Device is ready to connect, and bingo. Well, you gotta type in the code, but it works. It does take a lot of bandwidth to upload, so don't expect miracles. You're dumping R3Ds over Wi-Fi. So if you have a slow connection like me, take it with a grain of salt, but yeah. Autofocus has some improvements as well. I did notice that the 18 to 35 Sigma, which is my test case for autofocus, is really snappy now, and it didn't have the random disconnect from the lens that it would do just every kind of blue moon before. So I think that's getting kind of massaged kind of nicely. Now that's not good. I shouldn't do that. I play keyboard. I think the concerto is being composed much better for the autofocus. So next is the gyro data. Yes, gyro data is now embedded into R3D, but don't get too excited yet. There's still another step before we can use it, as well as I understand it, and it's being worked on, but I have no other information on that. I'm sure it's something RED's kind of keeping under wraps until it's done, but it's now embedded in the R3Ds, so whenever the next phase comes out, it's there for use, and it's going to be great. But don't bug RED about it. We know it's happening now. It's definitely happening, so Yay. One of my favorite changes is Geoscope. It's now added and it's super easy to use. You can find it in the main menu under Monitoring and Tools and then False Color. Enable it and then choose Geoscope from the mode selection. Now you can go down to the Geoscope option and configure it. You'll see each stop from 1 to 16 and a little toggle switch next to it. When you toggle it, a color that is representative for that stop it shows up, and well, you can enable the stops you want to monitor. Now keep in mind, middle gray is 11, not 8, like you might think. I know it's middle gray, but it's not in the middle. Yeah. So I like to run it with like the top 2 stops enabled, 11 and 12, and then like the bottom 2 stops. And the reason is that gives me middle gray and an idea of how the highlights are flowing, and then it gives me underexposed and overexposed. And if you see black, that's well beyond stop 16, so that's clipped. You might want to back down a little bit there. You'll also notice that the histogram changes from a histogram to a Geoscope segmented histogram with colors, well, and as well as, you know, when you use the Geoscope, it works. Speaking of tools, the Tools Quick menu on the main screen is improved as well. Tap the traffic lights and you'll see your chosen exposure tool that we just assigned highlighted. And if you want to change it, just tap the Tools button and well, it takes you directly to the menu for tools. And well, another great change for people who are, say, live streaming with Komodo is now the ability to change which audio, internal or external, you want to be sent as channel 1 and 2 over SDI. Now, to change which one is 1 and 2 on the main screen, tap the audio faders and then select the one you'd like to be channel 1 and 2. And then if both are selected, then internal or the scratch will be 1 and 2. So if you just want the external mic to be your main 1 and 2 channel going over SDI, uncheck the scratch mics and just tap the external. And yeah, super easy. Time code, you're now able to manually set a time code and jam it. And it'll keep that time code too. Just change your time code source to internal manual, click OK on manual time code, and then enter the time code you like, and then just click jam. I don't think it makes that noise when you do that, but it should. 2 new overlay modes have now been created for SDI monitoring. We now have simple, basic, standard, and advanced. So you have more or less stats on the screen, whatever you would like. You can now between 4 different overlays, and that's pretty nice. And those overlays, they now have an opacity setting with them as well. Now, sensor sync shift has been added for, well, those of you that run into sync issues with virtual walls and volumes. Yep, go down to System Settings and then Sensor, and then you can change the sync shift right there. You can now assign a low voltage warning to be distributed over SDI. So, you know, if you're connected to the power port with a battery, you can set a voltage there that will warn you when it hits that voltage. That's under System Settings and Power, and then all the way at the bottom. And so for Komodo, a good number is like 11.8 volts. To give you a little bit of time to swap that battery, I don't think I would go much lower. You probably could, but you know, 11.8, it's a good time to go ahead and change, because you know how lithium-ion batteries, they got that voltage and then they just do like my career. If you have the RED Komodo link adapter, you can now use the USB for logs, presets, and calibration files. And we also got a play and pause button in the playback, so now it will toggle between. And then the RCP2 protocol now supports external lens data and sensor and exposure time. So that's the beta in a nutshell. And there's one bug that you need to be aware of, and it's mostly why this beta is, well, a beta release. The voltage number displayed for the Canon BP batteries and or any V-mount adapter that is using the BP connection will always flash red, making it look like there's a warning. There is no warning, there is no danger. Your Komodo's not gonna power off. It's a completely cosmetic thing on the screen. Fixing it, however, will take a bit of time because, well, everything that they're doing in the back end and some of the new changes that they've added. And I believe they need the firmware engineers now working on V-RAPTOR and Excel to get some features added in there. So that's why they're releasing this as a beta now, so you can use all the great features now. And they're going to fix the bug in a future date, but it's not going to be soon. So let's not bug Red about it. Their engineers really are working as fast as they can on all of these cameras. And I'd rather have the release as a beta now with a flashing red voltage than nothing at all. And just so you know, this is not something as simple as changing a few lines of code. There's a huge back end with calculations and tie-ins to features and such that is generating all of this. So it's not just we could just wait a week. It's a lot more to it, but it's going to get resolved. So there's only one more thing we need to do, and we just need to call Jared and tell him to, release it. Let me find his phone number here, and I'll put it on up. Yeah, I'll put it on speaker. Hey. Uh-oh.
It's that guy from Texas that makes those puppet videos. Hey, Scott, what's up?
Hey, J-Red. J, get it?
Yep. You finally figured that one out. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, so I think you should go ahead and release it as beta. I think it's cool.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure. I think, yeah.
I'll release it.
Okay.
You know your email and your phone number is going in the release notes in case anybody has a problem over the holidays, right? Because we're closed.
I wasn't aware of that, but if it makes your holiday any brighter, okay.
Okay, man, I got to jump, but thank you so much.
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody's going to be happy. I hope everybody's going to be happy.
Yep.
Oh, some people aren't going to be happy.
Oh, man.
But anyways, love you, man, and happy holidays.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Yeah, man, take care. And, he hung up. Okay. So, it's now live. You can now go download the beta and enjoy. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions.